Hello everyone, thank you for dropping by the channel today. The following video is going to be the one where we get the Oldsmobile actually brought into the shop. And then the next video will be where we take the brakes and all apart. Quite a chore to do this. Special shout out to my buddy Tommy. Without his trailer, this would have never happened. The front end of the shop's not very conducive to a lot of in and out traffic with a little bit of an incline. So I got to thank my man Tommy because without that trailer, no way this would have happened. So I appreciate, again, you guys stopping in. Hit like and subscribe. You see something you like here. It really does help the channel. And don't forget, all this week, subscriptions are free. Thanks, folks. God bless. Okay, as you see here, we're getting the truck and trailer backed up to the doors. A little bit of an incline out there, as I had mentioned in the start of the video. Again, the trailer that I'm using here, I borrowed it from a real good friend of mine. It's a low-slung hydraulic tilt deck type trailer. Okay, and you'll see as we get the thing started in, it's a little bit aggravating negotiating here. We've got some landscape work and things that are going on around the shop. It's kind of hard to maneuver around right now. But again, as I mentioned in this video, I believe, and in the previous one, this car's been in storage since 1995. And some of the stuff that went on off screen that I really was not able to show, the way we got this car to move, initially all the brakes were locked up. They just simply would not move, only just a little bit at a time. We had to hook it to a tractor, and drag it out towards the trailer. And even at that, it was extremely hard to make move. So didn't bother filming all of that. There's a lot of back and forth just trying to figure out. At the same time, we're trying to hook to the trailer. The tires are going flat. Just an unbelievable aggravating and frustrating thing. But nonetheless, what we'll see here is obviously I've got the camera set up and I'm backing into it, and we've got now obviously to get it off the trailer, and it really did not want to move very well. But in doing all of this, it's kind of funny. I went back and looked up some facts about these cars that in thinking about the new LS conversions that everybody's doing now, and just the monster horsepower that you can get straight out of the factory. It's kind of funny, but these Cutlass Supreme Broms, current value right now, they're kind of showing a $10,000 value, and I do in that find a little bit of comedy in that you go to these shows if you can find one of these cars, and a lot of folks don't desire them. You know, the front end's too long, they're not proportional, whatever. Everybody's got their own likes and dislikes, but these cars, I regularly see them at swap meets and car shows, especially the one they have at Charlotte Motor Speedway. These things restored are bringing north of $25,000, and that's outside the auction. So a lot of crazy things going on with the numbers there. The most popular version of this car, the Cutlass Supreme Brom Coupe, was in 1983, and there was 331,179 sold that year. The fastest Cutlass that was ever built, though, was in 1969, and you may guess, if you're a Oldsmobile or GM fan, that would have been the 442. For those of you that don't know, that's 4-barrel, 4-speed, and dual exhaust. Okay, if you notice there in the picture, we released the hydraulics on the trailer and the car started down. But getting back to the 69, it's 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds at 390 horsepower. I think now you can probably find go-karts and side-by-sides maybe with that much horsepower, but back then that was a really big deal. The last year for the Cutlass was in 1999, and that was an extremely lackluster year for the Cutlass. In 1977, this particular car had a wheelbase of 215.2 inches long with a 76.7 inch wide stance, and a whopping, now this is amazing for a 350, this thing had an amazing 125 horsepower, and that was with the 4-barrel option and a 350 transmission and a 242 rear end. Curb weight on this car is 3,501 pounds, and again, that's a 5.7 V8 or a 350R. They as long as they made the 350 in these cars, and once they got into the 90s, the 350 obviously went away. Let me stop right there and show you what I'm doing. In the video here, you'll see me put a chock in front of the wheel, and I'm trying to walk the car a little bit at a time off the trailer. because what you can't see behind the camera here, this is pretty much the end of the bay in the shop where I've got a lot of other equipment set up is right behind where the camera is sitting right here. So ultimately what I'm going to have to try to do is get this car worked down off of the trailer. Okay, and it's going to have to literally walk or be put into the very spot that it needs to go into. Okay, in other words, the front wheels have got to hit where they are going to be sitting or staying until we can get the jack stands put under it. So it's a I'm not showing you everything on the video here that I did, just simply because maybe it's not the safest practice, and I certainly don't want somebody to take something that they see me do in a video and try it and get hurt. It's things that I've done over the years. I know how to approach it. I'm not moving in a hurry, and this is a process of which I've done many, many times, but we're just inching the car into position. I'm going to set the front wheels down exactly where they'll be when I jack it up to put the jack stands under it. Again, it's one of those type things where this vehicle just does not want to move very well. And with that being said, I've got the back end of the truck and the front end of the trailer really at a skewed angle just to get enough of an incline to where gravity can help us here. Again, it's the transmission will go in and out of gear without any problem. But again, when you're doing this thing by yourself, it's very, very important to go slow. It's very important not to get in a hurry and think about what you're doing. If you are moving a vehicle like this, I would suggest really, if you've never done it off a trailer before, have a couple people involved, yourself and one other, or just call a tow company. Around in our parts here, most of the tow companies will charge around $50 to move a vehicle on site if they don't have to get on the road and tow it. So certainly by far a safer thing to do. But again, we're gonna get it put on the ground, and hopefully here shortly you'll see that we get it put up on the jack stands. Okay, as you can see, we've got the front end jacked up. I prefer to do that first because that gives pressure back to the back tires. If you've got the parking brake applied, or you just put it in park, any kind of movement will settle back on the back tires, and you won't have to worry about any kind of movement. Once you start to jack the car up, it don't come off the jacks on you. Also, here as we go through and secure everything, if you notice, the last thing that I do, clear the jack from the car and then walk up to it and push on it. Make sure it doesn't fall. Okay guys, on day 2 of the move into the shop with the Oldsmobile, we've got it up on jack stands, and we've got the front grill out, got the trunk open, got some rust in there that I hadn't really thought would be there. We'll show that maybe in the next clip when we start surveying the body and marking off everything that's got to be done. Biggest problem we got right now is the underhood latch is completely frozen up. I don't know if it's the cable that's rusted, corroded, won't pull. It doesn't seem to be. I think it's actually in the lock. So probably going to have an extra set of hands to help work the hood a little bit to get this thing to spring up. Once we do that, we'll be in underneath the hood. We can kind of see what's going on there. But obviously the next thing that we'll start to do on it is taking the brake system apart and replacing all those components. We'll take you guys along for the trip on that. Appreciate you watching. Stay tuned.